Now, further afield, now the Central Intelligence Agency in the US believes Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ordered the killing of a dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Istanbul. The revelation comes from a Reuters source and could complicate US President Donald Trump's efforts to preserve ties with Saudi Arabia, a close ally. Well, according to the source, the CIA has briefed the US government, including Congress, on its assessment, while the report contradicts the Saudi government's claims that the Crown Prince was not involved in the killing. The CIA's findings was first reported by the Washington Post. Both the White House and the State Department declined to comment. Khashoggi was killed in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October the 2nd. He was a staunch critic of the Saudi government and a columnist for the Washington Post. Well, joining us via Skype now is Thembisa Fakude, who is a researcher at the Jazeera Centre for Studies. Thembisa, a very good evening to you, and thank you very much for joining us. I think of major concern at this point is this CIA report that is gaining quite momentum in terms of coverage in the United States.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, this story is far from over. We keep on, it's peeling like an onion. We keep on getting new things every day. I mean, Saudis, as you are aware, firstly denied that Khashoggi was killed inside the embassy, and later on accepted that he was indeed assassinated. But the biggest question now is who ordered the killing? And the CIA report is quite damning because it directly implicates a specific person within the Saudi family, and that is Mohammed bin Salman, who has, over the past couple of days since the incident, has said that he had nothing to do with it.
Well, you're a colleague, and one would even argue perhaps, a friend of the late journalist. Did he ever at any stage raise some concerns to you or other colleagues about his safety on the many assignments that you have been with him on?
Yes, he had raised some concerns. I've worked with him on several platforms. Firstly, he was a regular within Al Jazeera, where we've hosted him a number of times, and I also sit on another platform based in Madrid called Common Action Forum. He also participated in that platform. In fact, the last place where he spoke was the Middle East Monitor in London, which I have a very close relationship with. I'm one of the regular columnists there. He was not happy, and he always suggested some level of insecurity wherever he was, through just being over concerned about his surroundings, etc., because of what he feared from his own country. He was not fearing for writing, but he was fearing for being silenced. In Saudi Arabia, you are punished for being silenced because the government there wants people to speak, wants those who have the command of the pen and the waves to support the happenings and the doings of the government at the moment, which is disguised as transformation. And those who refuse to do so are seen as being dissidents.
Yeah, well, you actually wrote an article about that, from the very time that Mr. Khashoggi had been presumed then to still be missing. You had spoken about the dissenting voices, and how those who spoke out against the Crown Prince were being treated. And how does this, in the broader scheme of issues, I want to talk about the issue relating to your friend and colleague, Mr. Jamal Khashoggi, as well as what we're seeing in the United States. Very easy to just point out one of the recent incidents involving the US President Donald Trump, as well as what happened with the White House correspondent from CNN. If we look at the broader issue of media freedom, what does it say about where we are as a society, as the world?
Well, it's a very scary times, to put it mildly. And this is further exacerbated by the administration of Donald Trump, which has over the past couple of months or 2 years since he's been in office, has shown an absolute disdain towards the media. And many people are arguing that the actions of Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia in Istanbul at their consulate, where Jamal Khashoggi was killed, has to an extent been encouraged by the rhetoric and the actions of Donald Trump. We know, for example, that Mohammed bin Salman is a very close friend of Jared Kushner, who is the special advisor and son-in-law of Donald Trump. All of them have called the media as the enemy of the people, and that's not very helpful, particularly coming from a country like the United States of America.
We're running out of time, Mr. Fakude, but just in closing, has there been any word about if there are any other parallel investigations that are taking place? We're seeing this report from the CIA, nothing confirmed at this stage, but are there any other leads about those who are possibly involved in the murder of your colleague and friend?
Well, they've arrested about 15 people. Yeah. Saudi Arabia said those are the only people that were involved, and this is a group of people that flew into Istanbul. Yeah. We know that other countries, particularly European countries, now have the recordings that have been obtained from the Turks. So there are parallel investigations taking place in different countries. Yeah. But what will matter more will be the outcome of the American investigation, yeah, and the outcome of the Saudis together with the Turks investigations.
Mr. Thembisa Fakude, who's a researcher at the Jazeera Centre for Studies, thank you very much for your time. Of course, this following the CIA report that believes that the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ordered the killing of dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Istanbul.